Welcome to the Dice Gods. My name is Lillith, and today we are going to take a look at the unspoken horror of mini painting, choosing a colour scheme for your new army. So, you wake up one morning with your brave pants on, and decide you want to paint your minis not in the studio colour scheme. That sounds exciting, but how do you come up with a scheme that you love and looks amazing? Where do you even start? Well, this video is all about where to find inspiration, which will dazzle your opponents into submission as soon as they see them. Whilst this video does focus on Infinity, most of the ideas apply to other systems too. Ready to get started? Let's go! A quick flick through many of the sourcebooks for Infinity will uncover a raft of alternate schemes. Here are some of the alternate schemes from the recent Raveneye book from Corvus Belli. These schemes give some nicely balanced, attractive colours. You just need to figure out which colours is swapped with which for other minis. Our next stop is social media. A quick hashtag search or visit of your favourite artist will give you a load of new, interesting and exciting colour combinations. If you dive in socials, you'll find that a lot of fellow wargamers have posted their work. Even other factions or systems can be used to inspire a new scheme, so don't be afraid to wander away from the system you're painting. You can speed this up by saving images of mini schemes you like on your phone or PC. Then, when you are in need, you can take a look through the images and see what you like. Some of our favourite artists on Instagram include Mean Green Minis, Peachy Tips, Angel Heraldes and Savage Orc Guy. Go check them out, there's some awesome inspiration to be found there. When Corvus Belli brings out new miniatures, they often release artwork for it too. Replacing colours with similar tones is an easy way to switch up a scheme, but stay safe because you have that reference point. That way, you can use the artwork as a base to work your new scheme from. So, with this Custodia, you could swap the red with orange, the grey with light brown, and the white with an off-white ivory type colour. Inverting the original studio scheme colours gives your miniatures a totally different look too. For example, Hydra swapped the blacks of the Studio Tunguska scheme for a very light grey. This switches the miniatures from looking quite dark and menacing to clean and modern. Sometimes it can be as simple as finding a colour that you want to paint, then swapping that in for one in the studio scheme. Last but not least, tell a story. Come up with some background for your force and the colour scheme may suggest itself. Do they fight in the desert? Then yellows, browns and oranges are the order of the day. In the jungle, greens and yellows. In space, well, you get the idea. Here, for example, is Hydra's second Salamandra tag. Still a work in progress, but you get the idea. As it's a big lump of metal, he didn't want to try and alter the sculpt, instead creating a narrative around the army and the minis. In his lore, his Tunguska are the Helios Enforcer Corps, the HEC. A new faction in brutal security for the Tunguska nation. As the new guys on the block, they couldn't afford the second Salamandra which they needed. So they scavenged parts of old, damaged or destroyed tags to make the beast which is the scrap heat Sally. That's why the tag is a multicoloured mess. And why she's normally at the front of an attack. After all, if she gets blown up, it won't be the first time. The clockmakers will just pick up the pieces and rebuild her again. In our local community, we recently ran an escalation league, which got everyone painting. Most of the schemes were not anything close to the studio ones. So, we asked some of the players what they used to come up with their schemes. First, it's Hydra again. This time with his Invincible army. The idea behind this one was simple. He came in wanting to use Escorpina green from Vallejo Game Color. It's a really vivid yellow green. So he added some yellow accents and this scheme was born. Putting an off-white in the armour and on the guns was done to add some variety to minis. Hydra even ended up winning Best Painted in the league as well, so he's really happy with that. Next, we have Geo, also known as Mean Green Minis. His Varuna minis are gorgeous, so we had to ask how he came up with this scheme. Like Hydra, he started with a colour, but this time it was wanting to paint a red-orange glow. He then chose a blue-green, as, looking at the colour wheel, that would make the glow pop. The third colour, khaki brown, comes from a split complementary colour combo. Finally, adding in neutral colours of whites and blacks to round out the scheme. These 5 colours were then added into each mini based on guidelines for use that you see on the screen. Then we have Vincent's operations subsection for Aleph. His colour scheme is, fittingly, inspired by the ChatGPT logo, an AI colour scheme based on AI logo. He wanted a desecrated army with just a few bright spots included to draw attention, settling on fluorescent pink as pink is used in the Studio Aleph scheme. Finally, we have Bram. His combined army force is based on the rocky desert biome from the game Satisfactory. He created a narrative that his army was from that biome, so the plants and trees made up the colour scheme, as if the combined army was making dyes from these plants to blend in with their environment, adding in the brown for the sandy ground. He played with the use of colours, so each sectorial had a slightly distinct feel. And these are our tips and some examples to get you inspired and painting with the new scheme in no time. If you have any ideas or secret sauce you use to get that inspo flowing, drop them in the comments below. Thank you for watching our video. We hope you found it useful. If you did, please like, subscribe and hit the bell to get more from the Dice Gods soon. Thanks as ever to our patrons. If you want to join them in supporting the Dice Gods, find the link to our Patreon and socials in the description below.